Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Social Justice Politicast. Today you have Skylar and only Skylar. There's nothing super controversial happening. There's no county meetings, and Gabe wanted to spend some time with family. So you just got me. It's going to be a quick one today. We're just going to jump right into it. Coming up tomorrow, like I said, there's no county meetings, so we don't get kicked off until 11 with the Budget and Audit Committee. Two items that I flagged here, nothing super controversial, just kind of flagging it for people so they know what's happening. Item 7 is the 2025 audit of city employees' workforce diversity and salary trends, which actually, if you click through to the link, you can see some reports, and they do a pretty good job of like making graphs and things that are like easy to understand and digest, to see kind of the process of like how the city has changed its habits and diversity in hiring, and kind of who's being paid more or less, and blah blah blah. All of that stuff is kind of in there, and it's interesting and kind of shows that we've done well in some areas, and in some areas we still have some work to do, such as like the gender pay gap is still clearly a thing. So anyway, I think it's a cool effort either way, and I hope that things like this will help the city to take it more seriously and keep working and making progress there. Then we have item 8, which are updates on the current city council member proposals that have been heard before the Budget and Audit Committee. This is just kind of a quick look. They did this in Law and Ledge a couple weeks back, but it's purely informational. It's just kind of providing a look into what's coming down the pipeline for the full council in the near future. Then we go to City Council, the 2 p.m. meeting. Item 15 is they're going to authorize the issuance of 501c3 bonds for the financing of the Creek at 2645 apartments. That is in South Natomas. According to the staff report, the project administrator, Art House Partners, is proposing to utilize the 501c3 bond funds to acquire and rehabilitate this apartment complex. It'll occur over time and restrict 277 units as affordable to households earning 60 to 80% of the area median income. The remaining 91 units will continue to be rented at market rate. To me, this seems more or less non-controversial. There's maybe some kind of, if somebody is more familiar with financing on this level, and they're seeing something that seems untoward, like please flag us so that we can put it out there. But to me, it just seems like a kind of a roundabout way of getting a bunch of affordable units, which we do need in South Natomas, even at 80% of AMI is still incredibly high for people like working people in this area. So I guess good, not great. The other two items at the 2 p.m. meeting are items 16 and 17, which were continued from the April 28th meeting. If you remember, the April 28th meeting was the one with the ICE resolution, and so many people showed up to comment, which was awesome. But it made it so they ran out of time to cover these two things. So that's, again, I think you'll remember us talking about this a few weeks back. There's the Climate Action and Adaptation Plan Annual Progress Report. It's a routine report on the city's progress towards achieving its climate goals. Good opportunity to weigh in about climate concern and environmental concerns in general. And then next, the item 17 is the 2040 General Plan Annual Report, also continued, like I said. This is kind of, if you haven't heard of the General Plan before, it's the city's kind of overarching plan for general development and investment. Like if the city is a big ship sailing towards a better future, this is where we kind of put our hands on the wheel and make sure that we're steering it in the right direction. So this should also be fairly uncontroversial and purely informational, but kind of it's a good level set for where we're at in general. And then the 5 p.m. meeting has only one item, and it is the Transient Occupancy Tax Priorities Plan. So the the TOT is what they call it. So the TOT goes back to the 60s and serves as a mechanism to make sure we have like infrastructure, facilities, etc., to give tourists a reason to visit the city and spend their money here. So basically it's a tax. We put a 12% tax on hotels and a few different like kind of tourist revenues, and then we use that money to fund things like our convention centers and our theaters, and kind of make sure that we have things for people to do when they visit Sacramento, because tourism is a revenue stream for every city, and we are not an exception there. This should be also kind of non-controversial. There's a couple of things. Tourism in Sac is kind of the marketing arm of it. It's a private company called Visit Sacramento. Visit Sacramento does a great job of bringing people into Sac, but they also sometimes find themselves on the wrong side of issues that affect the lives of the people who already live here and are not tourists. Mostly I'm talking about unhoused people. Mike Testa, the president and CEO of Visit Sacramento, has been vocal about some pretty monstrous and short-sighted views and ideas for what to do to keep unhoused people out of sight for our money-spending tourists. And Visit Sacramento does get a slice. It's only about 5%, according to the report, of what the TOT funds. But it is, I think, noteworthy and worth tuning in to check out. I'm going to go into this in a minute, but there is a rally being organized by a bunch of really great groups in town to have people come out and advocate for a public bank. I imagine that would have to be on matters not on the agenda at the 5 p.m. So they're asking people to show up at City Hall at 4:30, get coordinated. It's like a bunch of groups who are all coming together to push this forward. Obviously, if you're listening to this show, you know that we are in full support of a public bank. And so we are encouraging people to come out. That said, because these comments will likely have to be saved because the item is not about a public bank, so we'll have to do matters off the agenda. I think if you feel like it, if you're already there and you're already planning on speaking to the public bank thing on off-agenda items, if you're already there, it might also be worth asking the council and mayor if they have yet to create a mechanism to force Airbnb owners to actually obey the rules we have on the books to regulate short-term rentals. As it stands right now, those rules are regularly flaunted, which cost the city a lot of money in terms of this TOT thing, and also money that could be used towards affordable housing, and also creates a system, of course, where people from other cities or other countries can just buy up our housing stock and pull it off the market for people who live here and would like to buy a house. Currently, we don't have any way to crack down on this. And this might be a good time, because we are talking about tourism and short-term stays and all of that, to ask council if they have any kind of plan or anything on the books to create an enforcement mechanism so that we can get some of this Airbnb regulation under control like they do in a lot of other cities. That is it for this week. I hope y'all are doing good out there, and I will see some of you tomorrow at 4:30 at City Hall.